Okay, guys. Great win last night. Was a real heavyweight brawl. Proud of the way our team played. I thought we really played well on defense and made timely plays on offense. Special teams was a wash, but it was a great effort. I think when you look at the game, third and fourth down, we were 7 of 13. They were 4 of 12. We had 5 sacks. They had 3. Take away the Hail Mary at the end of the game, our defense limited their offense to 276 yards. Outrushed them 118-58. Wasn't a perfect game, a hard-fought game. Great win for the program.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, you'd like to go through the season with no injuries on any spot, but especially the O-line. You had Drew Evans go down. Adamo Gianni stepped in, has played well. Came in last night for Bray Lynch. Just talk about what you guys have seen from him and just your thoughts for his future in the program.
Yeah, I think he's a good young prospect. We inserted him when Evans went down, and I saw him improve every week. And, he played quite a bit last night at right guard. And, Benson and Zen kind of split the reps at right tackle. And, Drew Evans was back. And so it gives us 7 guys right now. And, whereas last year we were at 6, and then when Drew went down, we were at 5. And so I think he's got a good future. He's got a lot of athletic ability. Hadn't played a whole lot of football. And you can see him improving.
Peter on your left and Alexa.
Yeah, hey, Curt over here. Last year, all 4 teams that had byes lost. The 30-day break, and obviously a team will be the team you play will have played in advance. How do you prepare for that to get your team ready up to game speed? Just how do you prepare for that so that that trend doesn't continue?
Yeah, it's a 3.5-week break. We put out 2 tentative calendars based on when we might be playing. So now we know. We'll treat the first half of this just like any off week. We'll practice enough to stay sharp, get the rest and recovery in, get the weights in, and then once we figure out who we're going to play, which will be Friday night, the 19th I think, then we'll be able to kind of hone in and go into game plan mode and game plan practice mode. And so that we will essentially get 2 full weeks in of opponent prep. We'll get a Monday through Thursday in, and then get a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in here. And then we've already been through Thursday once, Thursday and Friday. We'll get that when we get out there.
Tom Brew on your right and Zach B.
Curt, I know you're not a big behind the curtains guy, but can you talk to us a little bit about just what last night in the locker room was like with your coaching staff and the ride home and that, and just sharing and enjoying that night together?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a great win, a lot of emotion on the field. It was a little bit of a different setup post-game with the stage and some of those kind of things. So we never really had the opportunity to get the team together in the locker room afterwards because it was close to an hour before I got back in there with the different interviews and such, and some of the players too. So, but you could see the celebration both on the field and on the stage, and it was well earned.
Zach B on your right and Daniel.
You just called the performance last night not perfect for you guys. What does it say about your team that you can play not perfectly and still beat the number 1 team in the country at the time?
Well, they didn't play perfectly either. So, they missed a field goal. There was kind of a chip shot down there at the end that could have tied the game. And, we missed one, which was uncharacteristic, and the interception, which led to their first score on a short field, could have been prevented. But it was a great effort. And when you play a great team, they're going to make plays. You're going to make plays. And you just got to make one more than they do.
Daniel in front of Joe.
I think you said last night that the challenge now is just trying to humble this team. How do you approach that? Like, what do you use to try to humble them?
I said that kind of tongue-in-cheek a little bit, sort of to be funny. We've got a lot of time here. We're going to meet with the team tomorrow at 4. We won't practice tomorrow. And, we'll be in normal off-week mode here for almost 2 weeks, week and a half, before we find out who our opponent actually is, and then go into game plan mode. So we'll have them where we want them. I mean, we got great character kids and leadership on this team, and I have absolutely no question we'll be ready to play.
Joe on your right, the Miz.
Do you have any update on Omar's health? And then with Bryant Haynes, what is it about that connection with him and the defenders that just makes him so dominant,
Yeah.
regardless of the opponent?
Omar will know a little bit more as we go. We don't expect it to be anything. We don't think there was anything that happened in the game that will be affect our next game. In terms of Coach Haynes and the defense, we attack, we move a lot up front. TFLs, sacks, stop the run is the emphasis, and there's a lot of line movement, and we were very disruptive. And in fact, I just started the game before I came down. I've gotten through about 15 plays, but we hit the quarterback 3 the first 10 plays and picked one off early. Great play by Lou Moore. And then obviously twice they got down there in the low red and came away with maybe 3 points, I think it was. And it's just an attacking style play on defense, and Coach Haynes does a great job.
Miz on your left, and Zach.
You've seen kind of the coaching chaos across the landscape, and you've been asked a lot. Pam at Witten and Scott Dawson have been asked about a lot about what they saw in you to entrust the program. But I want to flip that question. What did you see in the administration that you trusted that they would follow through, kind of the promises they made and things you said? Because the first thing you did at the podium last night was thank them before you got to
Right.
the fans. But how did you know, and what was your kind of like standard to be like, I could trust this, I believe they're going to follow through on the promises?
Yeah, it was just a belief I had in my conversations. My initial conversation with Scott, the vibe I was getting, and then talking to Pam. I talked to Scott obviously 3 or 4 times. It's a quick process. That they understood it was integral that they get football going. That there'd be a commitment there. Now, what I will say is, within the first week on the job, we realized the commitment wasn't going to be enough. And, right away we upped it and ended up doubling it that first year. And, since Rev Share now, right, you guys read all the articles, and we want to be highly competitive.
Zach in front and right.
I want to circle back to, I guess, you've talked a lot about how sort of pressure, that attacking style defensively is something you want out of your defenses philosophically, but how much does it sort of almost like complement the way that you want to play offensively, in the sense of just constantly putting an opposing offense under pressure, constantly setting them back behind the chains, and then using that, whether it's controlling field position, whether it's controlling games on the scoreboard, using that to just sort of fuel what you want to do offensively?
I think you hit it right on the head. And, really, I guess if you looked at our defense relative to our offense in terms of, like, our defense is probably more aggressive than our offense, because we're very balanced on offense between the run and the pass and don't put too much pressure on the quarterback. And you don't see us spreading the field with 5 wides, things of that nature, running, things that people don't see all the time. We're a little bit more conventional, although we are, going to exploit weaknesses in the run game, pass game as well. And I think that's one of the things, like you look at us last night, the timely plays on third down and the down the field shots we were able to convert on, based on some things that they'd been doing on tape and really hadn't been challenged. But Coach Haynes and we got a lot of heady guys on defense too. You look at that whole linebacking core, and a lot of those guys up front are smart guys. And then you got some really good coverage guys with ball skills on the back end, which allows us to do a lot. Now, there have been some busts in the back end during the season, and I noticed one in the first 15 or 20 plays. Things that we still have to clean up and get better at.
Gravity on your left, and Josh.
Yeah, Coach. More on a story on just sort of the impact that your success has had on the town, the fan base, the university, et cetera. I'm curious, what are some things that you've sort of experienced, seen, felt, maybe community, town,
Yeah.
what have you?
And you'd probably have to talk to people on the outside to get a better feel for that. I hear it. I just know that winning lifts all boats, and in terms of fan support in the stadium, donations in all parts of the university, downtown. In terms, when you pack the stadium and bring a lot of people to Bloomington, it helps our sales. a lot of pride in Hoosier Nation, the largest alumni base, in America, over 800,000 people. And, I'd say right now the arrow's pointing up, and we've probably got a lot of momentum going in those kind of areas.
Josh, on your right, then Ken.
Coach Elijah, 10 tackles last night, then that pass breakup on third down. How have you seen him grow as the season has gone on from building off of last season?
Yeah, good young player that played really well last night on a huge stage, and it just tells you a lot about him. And 2 years remaining, so key guy to keep around.
Ken up top, then we'll wrap this up.
Every team is obviously different. Every year is different. But the experience of going through the college football playoff process last year, how is that going to help this team benefit, even though they don't know who they're going to be playing for a couple of weeks?
Yeah, second time through, you're always better. This one's a little different because you got a little more time off. But like every other experience from our first year, the returners all learn from those. Some of the newcomers have been in this situation before, Zen and Coogan. So, yeah, it's only going to help us. And this is a different team that's overcome some hurdles that the last year's team didn't, So, we're Big Ten champs. Beat the number 1 ranked team in the country, beat the number 2 ranked team in the country at the time on the road. Proud of what we've accomplished.
Seth, on your left, last one.
Yeah, Curt, what's made the pairing work so well between Fernando's playing style as a quarterback, and Mike Shanahan's style as an offensive play caller? I guess, how do they complement each other in those roles?
I think the thing Fernando has is he has the ability to extend plays, and he's really throwing the long ball real well right now. So, when you have a guy that can get out of trouble and extend the play, he makes the offensive coordinator look real good. The offensive thing, Mike Shanahan, I thought he did a great job last night dialing them up. And it's kind of a group effort. That's one of Mike's strengths is he draws on everybody. And, of course, I'm still in there, doing my thing. And, Bob has pretty much does the run game for the most part. And we kind of all get together on the pass game and, the various other elements of it, screens, RPOs, et cetera. And, Mike's demeanor is such, he's such a likable guy. And he doesn't really have an ego. And does a great job coaching receivers and has done a great job coordinator.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.